Hello and welcome to U-Nite Radio. I'm Zachary.
And I'm Zoe.
Yeah, we got the Z team on U-Nite Radio.
I'm so excited to be back on U-Nite Radio with someone else who has a name that starts with the most underrated letter of the alphabet.
Say, we always tell you, our listeners, our names, but we don't know your names. On the count of three, tell us your name. 1, 2, 3.
It's so nice to meet you. I wonder, do you know how you got your name? My name, Zoe, means life. And my middle name is Selah, which is in many of the Psalms in the Bible.
And my parents gave me a name like one you've heard in the Bible, Zacchaeus. And my middle name, Dean, is from my grandpa. And maybe your parents named you after someone in your family or in the Bible too. Or maybe they liked the meaning of your name or how it sounded, like Zoe's.
Those are just a few reasons why our names are important. But the Bible tells us that there is one name that's more important than any name in the world. I bet you can guess what it is.
That name is God's. But did you know that there are different names for God in the Bible?
Does that mean God has different identities? Like a secret spy?
No, there's only one true God. Throughout the Bible, different names are used to describe God for who he is and what he is like. Each name emphasizes an amazing truth about our amazing God.
For the next few episodes, we want to talk about 4 of those names with you. If you can, make a list of these names in your Bible or on a sheet of paper.
You may have heard this first name for God in a familiar Bible story, but this is a long section, so we're going to summarize the story. While you're listening, see if you can find the name.
This story is from the book of Exodus. We learn that Moses was born into God's chosen people, the Israelites. At that time, the Israelites were slaves in Egypt. One day, Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, made an awful law that ordered Israelite newborn baby boys be killed.
But Moses' mom hid him in the Nile River after he was born, and Pharaoh's daughter found him and chose to adopt him. So, Moses grew up like royalty in the Egyptian palace.
But one day, Moses had to run away from Egypt. He settled in the country of Midian. There, Moses got married and had a family. His job was to watch the sheep of his father-in-law. Being a shepherd was a common job back then. Can you pretend to look around your field to watch the sheep?
Do you see anything interesting? After a while, that could get boring, don't you think? But one day, Moses saw something that seemed impossible. Exodus 3:2 says, "And the angel of the Lord appeared to him," that's Moses, "in the flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. He looked, and behold, the bush was burning, yet it was not consumed." Moses saw a bush on fire, but the bush didn't burn. It still looked like a normal bush.
Then God called to Moses from the burning bush. God told Moses to take off his sandals because he was on holy ground. Moses obeyed, but he was too scared to even look at the bush. Why was God calling out to Moses?
It had been 40 years since Moses ran away from Egypt, but the rest of his people were still slaves in Egypt. God wanted to use Moses to set the Israelites free and take them out of Egypt. He wanted Moses to lead the Israelites to the land he had chosen for them.
But Moses was scared. He hadn't seen his people for many years. He didn't think they would listen to him. Moses asked God what he should say if the Israelites asked him who had sent him. And God said to Moses, "I am who I am." And he said, "Say this to the people of Israel. I am has sent me to you." Did you hear the name? God called himself I am because he has always been and always will be.
Whoa! Has always been and always will be? What does that mean? It means that God is self-existing. He has always been alive and he doesn't count on anyone else to live or succeed. See, you and I had a beginning of our life, our birthdays. That's when you got your name. But God doesn't have a birthday because he has always been alive. One of the reasons God told Moses to use this name is because he was making an important point to the Israelites.
The Israelites had been in slavery for hundreds of years. Many of them may have forgotten who God was or felt forgotten by God. Maybe they felt like God had changed and that he didn't want to keep important promises he had made to them long ago. But God hadn't forgotten them. God had Moses use that name to remind the Israelites of who he is. He would keep his promises, and he would use Moses to show his great power.
And he did. God showed his power to both the Israelites and the Egyptians and rescued the Israelites from slavery. He showed everyone that I Am was the same God the Israelites worshiped for many generations. And God is still the same today.
That's right. If you are a child of God, you can be confident that I Am is always the same God. God's power, love, and character does not change over time. God will never become a completely different being. Since God is self-existing, he doesn't need anyone to help him continue being the same God he has always been.
As you grow up, you need help from many different people to change, mature, and grow. Your parents, teachers, and pastors help you learn right from wrong, teach you about God, and show you important skills. But God doesn't need anyone to help him learn and grow because he has always been alive and has always been our perfect God. Isn't that amazing?
It is. And if you are a child of God, you can know that no matter what you do, or what happens to you, or what happens in world history, God is always the same. He loves you and is with you to help you grow to be the person he wants to make you into.
And if you ever feel scared, alone, or in need of help, you can always count on God to be there with you. That's all the time we have for today. So join us next time to learn about another name of our awesome God.
See you then.